I promise to obey and to keep to the Black Moon order in life and in death, Amaka declared. I now pronounce and bestow the power of the Mother Black Moon on you. Go, go, go and excel in all your missions on earth. And don't forget to keep to your word and promise. Congratulations and welcome to the Black Moon Coven, where all your heart desires will be granted. A demonic laughter filled the coven. Now, let's feast on this blood before us. They laughed louder and started feasting on the blood of the innocent. After the meeting, Amaka got back home. She saw her husband, Emeka, awake, sitting on the bed. She was shocked and asked him fearfully, "Babe, why are you still awake by this time?" "I actually went to ease myself," she said defensively. "I've searched everywhere for you." "It's okay then. Please come and lay down with me," her husband said. 1 week after, Amaka got pregnant and gave birth to a bouncing baby girl. Everyone in the city were happy for her. Finally, after 5 years of childlessness, the heavens had smiled on her and her husband, Emeka. Emeka was the happiest man on earth. He rejoiced and celebrated the arrival of his newborn. In a space of 8 years, Amaka gave birth to 6 children. But Emeka began to notice something unusual about his wife. She always stepped out of the house every night. Anytime he questioned her about it, it's either she claimed she went to use the bathroom or claimed she went to check on the kids. Emeka's suspicions grew stronger by the day, but he couldn't fathom what the problem is. One day, he called Amaka and poured out his heart to her. Amaka immediately flared up and shouting and accusing her husband of not trusting and believing her. Emeka, on the other hand, thought maybe he's making a fuse out of nothing. He ended the conversation. Mysterious turn of events started unfolding. Anytime any of their child turns 10, the child will die mysteriously inside his or her room without the sight of the corpse. The day their 4th child died, Amaka cried and wailed. Her husband Emeka was so saddened and kept wondering what might be the cause of his children's sudden death and the fact that a corpse is always missing. He asked God, why is he facing this unfortunate incident? One day, he called his wife Amaka and said to her, "I want to go and find out these mysterious happenings in her home." Amaka quietly told him that she doesn't believe in anything but the Almighty God. She said to him to be patient, that God will see them through. But still, Emeka wasn't satisfied. One day, he set out on a mission to find out what could be the cause of this mysterious predicament. On getting to the spiritualist's home, she welcomed him to a woody stool. She said, "You are here because of the untimely death of your children and their missing corpse." Emeka nodded in agreement, looking shocked. The old woman continued, "Your wife is a full-core witch. She uses her children's blood to strengthen her witchcraft powers. Exactly 12 midnight of a day after tomorrow, you will lose another child. Her powers are too potent. You have to act very fast before she kills you as well, because she knows that you are getting very curious, and she also knows that you are here. You have to be ready for the battle ahead." Emeka was shocked and scared. He couldn't believe his ears. As days and weeks passed, Emeka was nowhere to be found. Relatives began to get worried and queried Amaka, her husband's whereabouts. Amaka's answers were always, "I don't know where he is." Any of the relatives who tries to comfort Amaka will end up dead, with his or her corpse missing. One day, Emeka's elder sister Nneka comforted Amaka and promised to deal with her if she fails to reveal where her husband is, the whereabouts of her husband. That same night, Nneka slept and she was nowhere to be found. This grew the suspicions of the city They all started whispering in hushed tones. Amaka lost her fifth child, the same way she lost others, remaining only a son. Then she visited the coven, pleading to let her only child live. After much deliberation, her coven witches granted her request only on one condition, which is she will have to get married to her only son right in the coven. After much deliberation, she agreed and get married to her son right in the coven. After many years, her only surviving child, Obinna, grew up into a young, handsome man, loved by everyone in the city, especially the ladies, who all wish to get his attention. Obinna has been into many relationships in the past, but all crashed due to one reason or the other. Every night, Amaka will transform into a very beautiful young lady and sleep with her son, Obinna. Obinna is always unconscious whenever this is happening, but when he wakes up, he will feel so weak and drained. Amaka doesn't allow any lady close to her son. She always chases them away. Her wish is Obinna's command. Whatever she says stands, and no one dare to conquer it. One day, Obinna and her mother Amaka was in a room. She moved closer to him, held his waist and kissed him physically. Obinna was shocked and said, "Mama, what are you doing? Do you remember I'm your son?" He said. Amaka charmed and manipulated him. Since that day on, Amaka no longer transformed into a young lady. She does it physically with her son. This goes on for many years. One day, Obinna met Emilia, a young, vibrant, beautiful lady. She was so stunning, Obinna fell in love for the very first time in many years. He started seeing Emilia secretly. Emilia had asked Obinna about his family countless times, but Obinna always comes up with one story or the other. The pressure from Emilia got so high that made Obinna consent to her request. Obinna took Emilia home to his mother and introduced her as his girlfriend. Immediately, Amaka flied up and chased Emilia out of the house. Obinna was heartbroken, but he couldn't do anything to help the situation. Amaka said to him after Emilia left, "Son, you are mine and mine alone. I will not share you with any other woman, not in this lifetime or the next. Come on, son," she said sedulously. "Don't you like the way I handle you in the other room?" She kissed Obinna on the lips, and the rest was history. Amaka did all she could to keep Obinna away from other women, including Emilia. One day, Obinna was coming out of a restaurant where he went to have a meal. He met Emilia on his way out. Emilia was shocked to see Obinna. She left angrily after the incident with Obinna's mother, and Obinna didn't bother calling her. Obinna took her to an hotel where they lodged to have a quality time. Obinna noticed his manhood wasn't functioning. He was shocked and embarrassed as well. On a second thought, he whispered to himself, "But my mother and I do spend quality sexual time together. This has never happened to me before," he whispered to himself. He quickly dismissed Emilia, making excuses of not being stable at the moment. When he got back home, he angrily called his mother with anger in his voice, "Mama, Mama, Mama." Amaka, who was in her room, was shocked at her son's sudden outburst. She said, "What is the problem?" Obinna replied, "Mama, what have you done to my manhood?" "Oh, I see. Is that what gave you the nerve to talk disrespectfully to me? Don't you know that I'm your mother? So you think you can sleep with another woman aside me?" she said, laughing mysteriously. "Oh, my son, you should know so better. You should know better that I'm always one step ahead of you." She moved closer to Obinna and kissed him romantically on his neck. "Your manhood is mine and mine alone. From now on, if you try getting close, an inch close to any woman, I will make sure she dies," she said. Obinna was shocked at the revelation made by his mother. He couldn't believe his ears. He said, "Mama, don't you want me to get married? Don't you want grandchildren?" I'm not getting younger anymore, he said sadly. Amaka watched Obina's every move through the mirror in her room. Obina, on the other hand, got tired trying to shield himself from her grip. He resorted to drinking to stupor and late nights. Anytime he tried being an inch close to any woman, the woman will end up dying mysteriously, including Emilia. Emilia's death made Emeka very miserable. He started drinking to stupor, keeping late nights, started to isolate himself from people. He only find joy in drinking himself to stupor. He blamed himself for being the reason why Emilia died. He no longer satisfied Amaka's cravings. Amaka got very upset with this recent development. Amaka was very angry at the sudden turnout of her son, Obinna. Thinking of what to do, she visited her coven and narrated her ordeal to the Queen Mother Winch. They all listened to her patiently, then gave her a substance. You have done well by reporting this new development before it gets out of hands. Your spiritual husband, which is your son, is suffering from the after effects of the witch's projection. Take this substance and add it in his meal after making out with him. Make sure you add it in his meal after sleeping with him, she repeated. He will be yours forever. And a heavy demonic laughter filled the air. Thank you, Mother Queen Witch. I will do exactly what you said, Amaka replied. Now let's feast on this meal before us. A demonic laughter filled the coven. Immediately, Amaka got home. She hurried upstairs to Obina's room, opened the door, but the room was empty. She was so livid and wondered where Obina could be. Just as she was about going down the stairs, she caught a glimpse of an haggard-looking fellow who happens to be her son, Obina, walking towards her, drunk to stupor. He stank of alcohol. Amaka quickly covered her nose with her hands, looking at her son with anger and disgust. Just take a look at you, how miserable you've become. A promising young man like you drinking yourself to stupor like an old hag. She yelled at him with anger in her voice. My beloved mother, or will I say beloved wife, is angry with me. Am I drunk? Oh no. Obina laughed. Amaka, who is pissed and filled with anger, walked past him angrily, leaving Obina in his pool of his vomit. It has become a norm in Amaka's home. Obina always comes home drunk, littering his bedroom, living room, dining room, and both the kitchen with his vomit without cleaning them up, leaving Amaka with no other option than to clean them up herself. As Amaka sat at her living room, so many thoughts kept on popping on her head. She was in deep thought. How can I administer this substance to Obina now that he's always drunk, stinking of alcohol? I can't even get a minute close to him, let alone being intimate. Oh gosh, what do I do? An idea quickly struck her. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I will get a maid, she reasoned. ASAP. She quickly picked up her phone and called an agency requesting for an urgent need of a maid. Not less than 24 hours, someone knocked at the door. Amaka quickly rushed and opened the door. Standing before her was a young lady. Who are you, please? She asked. My name is Kemi. I'm the maid from the agency. She spoke politely. Oh, yeah, yeah. Come in. Amaka ushered her in and also educate her on her job description. She gave her a uniform and said, this uniform is what you'll be wearing as long as you are in this house. On no account, on no account should you do otherwise. She threatened. Kemi resumed her job with ease. She take care of the house chores, cooking, the laundry and lots more. One day, Obina came back home drunk to stupor. He staggered through the staircase. Suddenly, he missed a step, wanted to fall. Kemi immediately rushed and grabbed him, retaining his balance. She took him into his room and laid him to sleep, went back into her room and started wondering why Obina is always coming back home drunk every single day. She was so curious but dismissed the thought and focused on what brought her to the house. Kemi, 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 Amaka called out loudly, standing at the living room, holding a traveling luggage. Yes, ma, Kemi answered. Have been calling. Sorry, ma'am. I'm attending to Oga, referring to Obina as the young Oga. In his room, Amaka has. Yes, he has vomited again. I was cleaning it up. She said, oh, that's okay. I'll be traveling on a 1 week trip. We'll be back next week Friday. Please do your job and take absolute care of the house. Also keep an eye on him. Understood? Yes, ma, Kemi replied politely. Obina still continued with his drunken behavior, making Kemi overworked herself. One day, he came back home drunk, littering everywhere with his vomit. Kemi cleaned up the whole mess, helped him take his shower, and laid him to sleep. When Kemi entered her room that night, she was smiling sheepishly to herself. Obina continued his drunken lifestyle until one day, Kemi mustered the courage to talk to him. In the morning, as Obina woke up, he went downstairs into the kitchen to grab a bottle of his favorite whiskey. He met Kemi standing outside the kitchen door. Excuse me, he said. Kemi stepped aside as Obina was about to open the fridge. Kemi hurt him with a question. Why are you always drinking yourself to stupor? Don't you value your health? Obina immediately turned towards her direction and said, health? Oh, health. She just said health. He uttered in between pain. By the way, what's your job description in this house? Can you kindly remind me again? Oh, I guess. A maid. A housemaid. Don't forget that. If you don't like your job, he warned her. He took the bottle of whiskey and walked past Kemi, who stood there looking embarrassed. 3 days passed. Kemi began to feel drawn to Obina's presence. She sometimes sneaked into Obina's room just to watch him sleep. In other words, she feels she has fallen deeply in love with him. She started acting extremely kind towards Obina, striking up conversation, keeping him company. As days passed, the relationship between Kemi and Obina waxed stronger. Obina no longer goes out to drink himself to stupor. Instead, he will be at home gisting with Kemi. When Amaka came back from her trip, she noticed the sudden change in Obina. She was surprised and as well happy. She then decided to add the substance she got from the coven, thinking it was the perfect time for it. As she was about adding the substance, after Kemi cooked and dished out everyone's meal, Kemi saw her adding a substance into Obina's meal. She was shocked, not knowing what to do. What substance is she adding to her son's meal? Did she want to poison her son? Oh no, that's not possible. He's her son, Kemi thought to herself as she immediately rushed into Obina's room and informed him about what she saw, but was taken aback by Obina's reaction, who only told her, "Oh, okay." Kemi was so curious. She got so many thoughts running down her mind. He just revealed something to Obina, who acted so cool with it. One day, as Kemi was taking Obina's food into his room, she was drawn to a familiar voice yelling inside Obina's room, "Mom, I can't continue with this lifestyle anymore. Just take a good look at me. I am not getting any younger. No wife, no child, no investment, no nothing, Mom. My only greatest achievement is warming your bed every day. Mom, I'm fed up. I'm losing my mind. Each passing day, I can't even continue like this. I can't. You have to deal with it. If you need a man, go out there and get one for yourself, Mom. I'm your son, for crying out loud. Keep your mouth shut, you little creature. I'm your mother. You are my son, and I can do with you anything that pleases me. I own you. I own you. Mom, I can't let you continue like this. I can't. I will fight you with my last blood, Mom. I will fight you with my... Shut up, Amaka yelled. You are my forever, Obina. You need to start getting that into your thick skull. You are my forever. Your manhood belongs to me only. Only to me. I'm your wife. Yes, I got married to you spiritually. You can never get close. Not an inch close to any woman, or even think of getting married to any woman. Else, she will die. And that's final, Amaka said. Kemi, who was behind the closed door, was extremely shocked by this revelation. She quickly walked downstairs before anyone would notice her. One day, she summoned up the courage to talk to Obina. She said to herself, I think this is the right time. This is the time for change to happen in this household. And I, Kemi, am the change that will take place in this household. She picked up her phone, dialed an unknown number, talking to the other person in low tone. After the call, she stepped out of her room and approached Obina, who was sitting at the living room. She said, Obina, I want to talk to you. Obina headed to Kemi and followed her outside the house. When they got outside the house, Kemi said to Obina, I see change in you. I see that you are now fully ready for the change that is ahead of you. Do you want this change? She asked. What change? Obina asked surprisingly. You know what I'm talking about, Obina. Don't play dumb with me. I'm talking about your mother. Obina was shocked. My mother? What about her? Obina, please don't act smart with me. Because I know everything from the beginning to the end. I wasn't sent from the agency. I came here for a mission to save you from the shackles of your mother. I was sent here by my mother, who is a spiritualist, and your father. My father? Obina asked, shocked. My father is dead. What are you talking about? Your father is not dead, Obina. Your father is alive. Your father is hale and hearty. Obina was taken aback. What are you saying, Kemi? I don't understand. Can you please come out? My father is dead. My mother said, your father is alive, young man. Kemi declared. Back 2 years ago, when Emeka, who was Obina's father, visited a spiritualist, he was advised not to go back home because of the dangers that lingered around him. He now decided to live with a spiritualist. Meanwhile, the spiritualist has a daughter who happens to be Kemi. The spiritualist, Kemi mother, advised Emeka, which is Obina's father, not to go home because Amaka powers were very potent. It takes only the grace of God and meticulous action to be able to defeat her. They planned with the agency and moved Kemi into Amaka's house to use her as a tool to break the evil shackles around Obina. She came in pretending to be a maid, but watched Amaka closely, relating back every bit of the happenings to her mother, who is the spiritualist. She went as far as swapping the food Amaka added the substance into. After she revealed all this to Obina, Obina was shocked. For the first time in his life, he felt a glimmer of hope. He looked at Kemi in the eyes as his God. He asked, "Please, Kemi, where is my father?" He asked amid sob. He's safe, Obina. You don't need to worry. He is with my mother. You will meet him soon. But we have to do something really fast before your mother gets to find out. There is something you need to do, Obina, to be free from your mother's shackles. There is a clay pot in your mother's room and 6 eggs under a bed. You need to get them. Put the eggs inside the clay pot and pee on it. This will be difficult to do because your mother moved around with the keys of her room. You need to get hold of the keys and do this. Obina felt a burden lifted up his shoulder. You mean just this? Are you sure? Obina asked. Yes, Obina, that is it. That is what you need to do. One evening, as Amaka came back from her work, Obina walked towards her, greeted her, and collected her handbags. He carried her romantically into her room. He collected her keys and opened her room. Amaka was shocked by this development. She whispered into her thoughts, "Oh, it seems the substance is working already." Obina laid his mother Amaka on the bed, reached out to a spiked bottle of wine. As they drank, Amaka fell asleep. Obina quickly started searching for the clay pot. He searched and searched, but it was nowhere to be found. He called Kemi, telling her he couldn't find the pot. Kemi immediately called her mother, who told her that Amaka moved the pot into her toilet water system, because she has already sensed what is about to happen. Obina quickly rushed into the toilet and saw the clay pot immediately. He took it. Immediately he took it. Amaka woke up, grasping for air and pleading with him to keep the pot back. Obina was moved by his mother's tears, wanting to keep the pot back. Kemi interjected. No, Obina. No. Do this. Your life depends on it. Do you want to remain miserable? Do you want to continue being your mother's bed warmer? Think, Obina. Think. Think about your future. Think about your life. Think about us, Obina. I love you, Obina. I have fallen deeply in love with you for the first day I stepped my foot in this house. Don't ruin our love, Obina. Don't you want to be with me? And I know you love me too. I can see it in your eyes, Obina. Please listen to me. Listen to me and do this. You have to do this to be free. You have to do this to be free, Obina. You have to do this. Kemi pleaded. Shut your mouth, you swine. You came into my life to tear me and my son apart. Oh, newsflash. My son loves me so much. My son, Obina, Nwam, you know we can sort this out. Please, my son, Amaka said in tears flowing down her eyes. Please, she pleaded. Immediately, Kemi's mother, the spiritualist, and Obina's father walked in. Amaka was shocked to her bone marrow. Emeka, she called surprisingly. You are alive? Yes, I am alive. Obina, my son, your mother here is a witch. Quickly do the needful and set yourself free. Obina's father said, Mother, I'm sorry. I need to do this for my happiness and future. I need to do this, mother. I've sacrificed a lot to you. I've sacrificed my youth. I've sacrificed everything. I've done everything just to please you, mother. I think I now deserve the best. I think so. Amaka was short of words by the whole scenario. No, son. No, son. No, son, you can't do this. No, okay, I will change. No, no, son. No, 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 no. She shouted as Obina poured his urine into the clay pot. Amaka gave her the ghost. She was buried at the evil forest without no proper burial rites. Obina united with his father and later got married to Kemi. He was so full of life and free from the evil shackles of witchcraft. He and Kemi lived happily ever after. Good day, my wonderful subscribers and non-subscribers. Welcome back to my channel. What do you think about the story? Please drop them at the comment section. And if you like this story, please give it a thumbs up. And also, most importantly, hit that notification bell to always get you notified whenever I post videos like this. What do you think about the story? Please drop your comments at the comment section. Thank you and God bless you. See you in my next video.